But what is a woman king? I don't know. We'll get to it eventually. So I want to talk a little politics because y'all know I love talking politics. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think it's super important to come on this platform and talk politics because I don't think we have enough platforms in Black America that properly educate our people on what's happening politically in a with I'm not going to say an unbiased view because I obviously have biases because I'm a human being, but not somebody who's just going to wave the flag of the liberal left every single time, wave the flag of the Democrat Party every single time because I don't always identify with what's going on, and I try to provide some good analysis to try to help you all so that you learn from this experience. Okay. Oh man, got a little bite to it. Let me get a little taste of that water. Anyways, so abortion is killing the GOP. Obviously, we talked about the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Obviously, the GOP had a big hand in that by returning it to the states. And they wanted to return it to the states because there were states who wanted to outlaw abortion totally. And although I disagree with outlawing abortion, I've stated here many times, if the states want to do that and the people vote for it and they don't hold their elected officials accountable, then have at it. It's not going to change. It's not going to change me. It's not going to change my thoughts on the actual issue itself. Okay, so Lindsey Graham proposes a federal abortion bill, and I find it ironic, but very fitting that it would be Lindsey Graham to be the face of this and try to get ahead of it. Because if you know anything about Lindsey Graham, you know Lindsey Graham would do any and everything to stay in good favor and get reelected so that he can stay in office. I mean, what is the job of a politician? The job of a politician is to get reelected. So you don't have a job, right? If you don't get reelected. So originally Lindsey said, "Hey man, it's a states' rights issue." Now he's saying it's not a states' rights issue; it's a human rights issue. And what happened? We were seeing in the midterms that abortion is a topic that's getting people to the polls. And what the GOP should be saying, and what Lindsey Graham is saying, is that getting on the right side of abortion is going to be favorable for you moving forward. So what did Lindsey do? He proposed a 15 week banning abortion after 15 weeks. And kind of his stance was, hey, I, I, I see what's going on in other states, i.e. California, and I can't stand on the sideline and wait until, and allow these states to allow people at 28, 30 weeks to decide that they want to abort a child, because that is a child in his eyes, right? So we go 15 weeks. That gets me away from the radical, hey, absolutely no abortions. There are exceptions for rape and incest. And you go, you know what? This is actually a reasonable piece of legislature, right? It's for those of you who may find out late, you may not know what's going on. Uh, you got a little bit of time, right? And for those of you who are just anti, you go, well, a baby at 15 weeks can't survive on his or own her own, on his or her own, right? So it's a nice compromise. And in policymaking, you expect compromise. But the GOP hasn't gotten behind Lindsey Graham with this. I mean, Mitch McConnell kind of came out, he came out and was like, it's a state's issue. He didn't really want to get into it. He didn't provide support for it. But I think that, the Republican Party, the GOP, fumbled the bag here. Because if you ride this wave that Lindsey's creating, you go, You bring in the moderates, the swing voters who are looking for something that will allow them to identify with the party, because all of this, chaos and the far right, far left rhetoric that's taking over our airwaves. You go, you know what? This abortion thing, I don't really like what the left is doing, but I don't like the attack on abortion. I'm just gonna lean left. Well, Lindsey gave the Republicans prime, prime legislation that they could have ran with. And all they have to say was, "Well, you said it's a states' rights thing, or you said you're anti-abortion." Uh, at any cost, you go. You know what? I have my own personal stance. I have my own personal beliefs, but the people have spoken. And my job here in the Senate is to represent the people in my state and represent their values. So when I'm misaligned with their values, I have to realign myself with them. And I can't allow my personal values, my personal beliefs to drive every decision that I make, but I'm making a decision for the people. Sounds good to me, right? But no, they didn't. They're going to stick to their guns. And what I see happening is the people who are going to be more open to abortion, for whatever reason they are open to it, are going to do better when we close out midterm season, not because those swing voters identify with what they're standing for, but they rather the window be wide open than it be totally shut.